of the diabetes weight gain capital of the world.
I was diagnosed with TB, and that course of time, when I did my blood test, I came to know that I had PCOD, I had thyroid, I had diabetes. Processed food are science experiment. We are just there.
Lab rats.
There's one reel which is saying this is amazing for your body, and the other reel says it's a poison to your body. And I think if I am there, how would I choose? Someone asked Narendra Modi ji, our Prime Minister, that are you afraid of death? Then he said death is the most inevitable.
Hello everyone, my name is Shikha Agarwal and welcome to the second episode of the Wellness Show by Dame Health. In today's episode, we have a very special guest with us, Shikha Agarwal, who is a renowned nutritionist and dietitian. Welcome to the Wellness Show by Dame Health, ma'am. It's such a pleasure to have you, and I've been really looking forward to this podcast for a very long time. I have a lot of questions for you and really excited to have this started.
Thank you so much, Sahil. Even I'm excited, and it's always a pleasure to come here.
Yep.
So let's bring it on.
Yep, let's do it. So, ma'am, we live in a culture where people glorify late nights and, hustling hard. And I've seen even the people who actually are very healthy, they struggle with sleep. So, why is that the case?
Albert Einstein once said, everything that cannot be counted counts, and everything that counts cannot be counted.
Oh.
So, ironically, sleep cannot be qualified and cannot be counted, right? And so people don't know the importance of sleep. And yes, you're right, in such a big hustle, we are compromising our sleep. Even one is too much inclined towards health because, there is so much expectation, always checking the emails, always setting a target, and, just pacing up with the competition in that jargon of things. People are just running, and in that they are just forgetting the importance of sleep. So hence, even when people are towards health and counting their health things, they are compromising their sleep. And after that, a time comes when they really struggle, in the sense when they wake up, they wake up groggy, and there's too much of adrenal fatigue, which leads to chronic fatigue, and over the time it leads to visceral fat. So I'm not going to extend this topic.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. So just summing it up, yes, in this hustle, people are compromising their sleep, which is a most ironically underrated but most important part of health strategies.
So actually, I've heard so many people who even tell me that, I try my best to sleep, but seems to be the most common issue which everybody seems to have. Even in my case, actually, when you keep working throughout the day, the time around 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. is actually the time when you actually get your me time. At least that's for me, which is the reason why it becomes extremely difficult to try to sleep early, but you don't end up sleeping early actually. So from your perspective, what's the main difference between the people who do sleep well and don't sleep well? What are the signs?
Okay, so the science is, firstly, the people who sleep well and people who are always sleep deprived, there's a hell lot of difference. Okay, the people who sleep well, their cognitive function, their memory, their performance, their recovery, everything is like amazing. And the people who are always sleep deprived, they face these issues. As I said, that when these people are always sleep deprived, over the time, their adrenals are fatigued, and because of that, this chronic fatigue, they're always in that sympathetic nervous system, which is the flight and fight mode, and for that, their cortisol is always high. And because the cortisol is always high, they tend to develop visceral fat, and they are going away from the body's biological clock, right? And biological clock is not just said, it is all science. Like there's something called SCN, that is
SCN.
SCN.
Oh, SCN.
All right, it's a structure in the hypothalamus, which is suprachiasmatic nucleus. Okay, so it's like it's a very small mungi size structure, but has a very hearty size impact on weight loss, because this structure, it contains 20,000 neurons. And it is just placed in very contact with the optic nerves, which just tells us, okay, if you are in front of the light or even blue light, it tells you, okay, now you should be wide awake.
Okay.
All right. And
Like an alert system,
alert
basically.
mode, yeah, that's the sympathetic nervous system. And when there's dark, it is supposed to release the melatonin, right? But the people who are, always on their phone and, they're watching TV. So what happens? It does the opposite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has the opposite effect. And the melatonin, it just goes for a toss. And what is had an effect on weight loss is that there's a hormone called leptin, right?
Yep.
So it is supposed to tell us, okay, now stop eating.
Yeah.
It's, the word itself means thin. So it is so much interlinked to everything. So if you see that people who are always watching TV, they'll have the tendency to eat something or snack.
Yes.
Like most of the my clients, they come to me, they always want a snack when they are watching TV or if they are on the phone, because
popcorn,
they just snack. So this is the reason when melatonin goes lowers
down.
Yeah, because of the emission of blue light when you're watching TV or your phone. So what happens, this leptin, which is supposed to go high, that tells you to, okay, now you're not supposed to eat, again it starts dropping. So your hunger hormone ghrelin, which says, okay,
crazy,
start
actually,
eating, it says, okay, now you eat.
Okay.
So so you're going opposite to your body's biological clock, and hence your circadian rhythm.
Nice.
So people who are like, always sleep deprived, they face all these issues.
It's crazy to think that, sleep has such a cascading effect on stuff, especially weight loss.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to have any relation per se otherwise.
Yes, it has a major impact on weight loss.
Nice. So ma'am, you mentioned melatonin. Actually, my next question is what relates to that. So what are some of the most overlooked disruptors of sleep today? Beyond the regular like screen time or late night meals?
All right. Oh, there are many. Okay. One is like if your partner is really snoring, that really disturbs. And that's I call the actual sound pollution.
Okay.
And the next would be having caffeine post sunset. That actually, again disrupts your sleep. It again reduces the melatonin, which is supposed to peak after the sunset. And actually after sunset, so what happens, caffeine is a stimulant, right?
Yep.
So after sunset, your cortisol is meant to drop and your melatonin is meant to increase. But when you have a stimulant, the opposite happens. The melatonin again helps to drop and your cortisol starts increasing, and you are again go to the sympathetic nervous system. That is, you are like going to the flight and fight mode, and you are high alert, which you are not supposed to be. The third would be having alcohol. So many people think that alcohol helps them to get in sleep, but that's like very few hours, and that's very temporary.
It's like knocking off.
Yeah, correct. But it doesn't. It prevents you from going to the REM sleep. That's a restorative sleep.
Yeah.
So what happens when you go to a REM sleep? That actually all the fat burning happens. Okay, or the recovery happens. But when you have alcohol, the opposite happens. So if you see, all the people who have alcohol, even they don't snore, but they will snore when they have alcohol. You have heard of hypoxia, like people who climb the mountains, the absence of oxygen, they are unable to breathe. So similar thing happens when people sleep and they have alcohol. The oxygen doesn't reaches to the brain, and that is why they have this snoring and the disturbed sleep. So this is one of the things.
That's a cool point, actually.
Yeah, and people who exercise in the night, mostly I have seen with my clients, because exercise, after the exercise, you have the post-exercise, stress thing, and you're like hyper, your heart rate goes high. So it takes time for it to settle down. So they again face this problem. Again, their melatonin reduces and the cortisol increase and the stuff. So these are the few reasons.
Nice. So you actually mentioned 2-3 very interesting points there. A lot of people actually have this debate of if it's better to gym in the morning or in the evening.
Yes.
So what time would you say is okay in the evening to gym? Like, what's the latest time you should be gymming?
At least 3 hours before you sleep so that you give your body to have adequate nutrition after you sleep. You should give your body adequate digestion time for the food, and the post-exercise that slump thing where you become hyperactive, then you give your body to again relax and settle down. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Nice. And one more point. So there are a lot of people who actually take a shower right before they sleep. Some people say that, it wakes me up. Some people say it really soothes them.
Yes.
So do you know which one actually truly works from a science point of view?
So it's always, depend on person to person. There are certain things where actually you should stop outside noise and just listen to your own
Your own
voice,
voice.
we always say. So sometimes it's just own body needs. You take a shower, you feel relaxed and you go to sleep. So that really doesn't affect your hormones to the hormonal level. It just
Each
the
to their own,
habit.
basically.
Yes,
Then.
correct.
Okay, nice, perfect. So, ma'am, that brings me to my last question. What is your take on sleep supplements? There are so many out there, magnesium, melatonin. So, do you take them first? And number two is that do you recommend them?
Okay, so Sahil, melatonin supplement, all right, our body produces own melatonin. So popping a melatonin pill doesn't solve the solution because the problem is still there, right? So I would prefer that something which boosts your own body's melatonin, okay? For some reason, as I said, there are a lot of reasons,
Yeah.
okay, when the melatonin goes down, okay, because of our lifestyle, our stress.
Sleep hygiene, poor sleep
Yeah,
hygiene.
exactly. Our unprocessed stress, sometimes your body is very fatigued and there are too many things running in your mind.
Yeah.
It's our emotions, our unprocessed stress, we call that. So I would want a mineral that would boost that melatonin, which is reduced because of all these things. So that would be, I would highly recommend magnesium glycinate because it actually relaxes your nerves, and also not only that, it has a lot of functions in the body. It's not only to give you a good sleep, but along with that, it is, along with the calcium, it is increasing your bone density. It is responsible for your muscle contraction and relaxation, and also it helps to enhance your mood. And also when you are sleeping, sometimes we exercise or for some reason there's a lot of muscle fatigue.
Yeah,
it helps to
absolutely.
relax that. So indirectly it is not impacting the melatonin, but it is reducing all those stresses because of which the melatonin is not being produced, right?
Yeah.
So that is why I highly recommend magnesium, because along with zinc and vitamin B6, it helps to boost your own body's production, and you're not addicted to it.
Yeah.
Anything which is addictive, I would never recommend. So magnesium is not addictive. So yes, after my workout or just normal thing, if I take a magnesium, I feel that I get a very good sleep, and the next morning I don't wake up with an alarm. So that's a very healthy sign that you don't wake up with the alarm. I wake up fresh, I look forward to working out, and I feel that it helps with my muscle recovery also.
So yeah, I just wanted to add to that, ma'am. I started having magnesium and melatonin combination like 2.5, 3 months ago. And I take magnesium every single day. It makes a world of difference in my recovery.
Yes.
And I use melatonin more as an SOS.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I feel that, I'm not getting sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning, or, I'm very jet lagged. So that's where melatonin works very well for me. But yeah, both these supplements.
If you're waking up 3 a.m. in the morning, that means that is a glucose drop that time.
Okay.
That means you are spending too much screen time before taking your magnesium. So that you need to stop.
Okay.
Or either there is too much gap between your food and your sleep, and that is why there's a glucose drop that time. And when there's a hypoglycemia, you tend to wake up.
Okay.
So that's the reason many people wake at around that time.
Hypoglycemia would be?
That your glucose level drop to that level that you wake up and you want to eat something, and as soon as you eat, you again go back to sleep.
Okay.
So that is the reason. So you need to avoid and not take melatonin, stick to magnesium and the combination of zinc. So that would really help.
So just a curious point which I have, that there are a lot of people who have this midnight ice cream craving. So is that because of the same reason?
As I said, when melatonin goes down, your leptin also goes down. It tells you, okay, now I'm again hungry.
Ice cream,
yes,
something
yes,
I need. Yeah,
correct.
okay.
So the ghrelin hormones, okay, which tells you, which secretes from the GI tract. It tells you, okay, I'm hungry, you have to feed me something. Okay, because of the leptin which goes down. So that is a time you feel that, okay, I need something. And soon as you eat, you go back to sleep.
Yeah, for some people, especially like, some of my family members,
Yes.
it's like it's this uncontrollable urge to actually have something. So that's crazy.
Yes.
Nice. So ma'am, coming to my favorite topic actually, which is strength training. For the viewers who don't know this, Shikha ma'am and I are actually gym buddies. So we train every day together.
And we are participating in High Rocks.
Yes. So, ma'am, let's talk about strength training. You've seen it changing lives, including your own. So, what makes it so powerful, both physically and mentally?
So, Sahil, if given a choice, I would be the brand ambassador of strength training because I have myself seen so much of change in myself. And yes, coming back, going to the speaking of the clients also, I'll tell you there are so many stories who have started strength training. So, coming back to myself, so 15 years back, okay, not 15, around 17 years, 18 years back when I was around 115 kgs of body weight. So that time I had in mind that only cardio would help me to lose weight,
Yeah.
and I was doing that. Yes, I lost weight, but at the cost of my muscle mass. And one thing you should know, fat is something that will take you towards gravity. That is why people who don't train, you don't strength train, they have lack of muscles. They'll always slouch, they'll always bend, right? When people who are muscular, they'll always sit straight. So muscle takes you away from gravity,
Okay.
it uplifts you, right? So if you want to stay uplift and stay strong,
Strength training.
yeah, do strength training. And if you want to always slouch and stay down in front of everyone, don't do strength training. So that's the thing I say. And also, I was diagnosed with TB, and that course of time, when I did my blood test, I came to know that I had PCOD, I had thyroid, I had diabetes, and it was a shock for me. But I opted not to take any medication because I messed up my style, and because of that, I got all these things. So I said, okay, I'll take a pause, I'll take a U-turn, reverse my lifestyle. And that is what I did. And here I'm sitting with you and curing others people all these problems.
Crazy, you're like a walking transformation journey. So actually, I wanted to just click on 2 or 3 points which you mentioned there. I feel again when people do strength training, when they have this habit of going to the gym, I think the other habits start falling into place, right?
Yes.
And the one thing which you also mentioned is that what you thought that cardio is what is very good for losing weight. This is something which is a very prevalent thought in India, where if somebody wants to lose weight, the first thing they start doing is going and start running.
Yes.
So why do you think there's such an aversion to strength training and or a fear, I would say, especially among women?
All right. So, Sahil, yes, I do recommend my clients, who are in the weight loss journey to focus on cardio and do a lot of, running. Okay. It does help with fat loss. But at the same time, it is very important for them to build muscles also, right? Because as I said, when you're in the non-contact phase or when you're running, it's very important that you build that strength so that your body is capable of bearing that
Load of
joint.
that
Yes,
weight.
yes, correct. So balancing of that is very important. And you must be knowing this term metabolism.
Yep.
Right? So what is metabolism? It's like anabolism, which is building up of muscles, and catabolism is breaking down of muscles.
Yep.
Both together is metabolism. Right? So after 35, women more from anabolic state go to the catabolic state. We by nature, because our death is inevitable, right?
Yeah.
So we move to catabolism. We break down muscles. We are tend to do that. So at this point, we really need to save our muscles. So I was reading one article, and someone asked Narendra Modi ji, our Prime Minister, that are you afraid of that death? Then he said, he laughed and he said, death is the most inevitable thing, because if you're born, right, you are
Have to
going to
die.
die. Like if a person is building, then nature has made that we are moved to that catabolic stage, that breakdown of muscles, that we are going towards death. So why I mentioned this, people who want longevity, who wants the reversal of age without going to that all those treatments, all they need to do is strength training, so that from the catabolic stage they move to the anabolic stage and they reverse their age.
So actually you mentioned a good point where the entire dermatological treatments or cosmetologists are making a lot of money nowadays with all the cosmetic treatments, but I think strength training is more inner anti-aging, as you might call it.
Yes,
Got
correct. Very right.
Nice. So ma'am, what are some signs that you notice in women in their 20s or 30s that might help them understand that they need to go for strength training or they need to hit the gym?
In this age, a lot of girls, they come to me, they always complain of very similar problems.
Okay.
That is, they feel very groggy all the time. They don't feel that energetic. They feel fatigue all the time. They don't have the drive. They lack the drive to do something. And they don't feel like, waking up in the morning. They don't feel hungry in the morning. They want to extend their, eating till afternoon, and they think this is cool, but that's not a healthy sign. So once you wake up, you should feel hungry, because once you wake up after half an hour, your cortisol peaks, and then that is the time you should feed your body, and you should feel hungry. And if you're not feeling hungry, there's something wrong with the hormones. So if these are the signs that you feel always tired, there's unknowingly hair loss, a lot of hair loss, you see a lot of acne or skin issues, and there's unwanted, weight gain, and there's visceral fat, which is a fat around your organs. You see your belly size is increasing, without any reason. So that's the fat, that's a toxic fat, which is responsible for all the lifestyle diseases. So these are the signs. It tells that now it's high time, now you should start training, so that you reverse all these problems.
So ma'am, it seems like you've got amazing stories of your clients. Could you just tell us one story which you feel is like a crazy transformation of any one of your clients?
Okay, so actually I have too many stories. My life has now become is all about my clients, and a lot of stories. So I remember, I won't mention the name, he is no more, and he was bedridden, and I was giving him food through rice tube. All right. So I went to him. He didn't recognize me that time because he was unconscious. So all he knew, he would just look at me, and I would feel that he's trying to say something, and I don't know what was it. So I used to just give him food, and the family members used to tell me, why you give all the variation? Because somewhere I felt that you could feel everything, So that process, went on, and I was very in high hopes that one day he'll, wake and he'll get up. Even the family, there are a lot of
faith.
Yes, there are a lot of faith, and we were working on it. And one fine day, I got a call that he called that I want to meet Shikha, and he took my name, and I went there, and the first thing he wanted to do is he wanted to get up on his feet, and he just wanted to walk. And with all the help, he did that. So I encouraged him that, okay, he started walking. The progress now would be if he's able to walk steps, he climbed stairs. And they sent me a video, I still have the video on my phone, that he climbed steps. And the day when he climbed steps, and as if miracle happened, his rice tube came, and he was out of bed. All the nurses were on chutti, and he was sitting on the dining table, and he was eating. So that climbing of stairs, again going against the gravity, that's also a kind of training, right?
Yeah.
So all his muscle memory started, coming back. The sitting thing, the standing thing, that's called the kinesthetic intelligence. There's a memory in our muscle also,
muscle memory.
Right? So that is why you see, when an old lady falls, she'll land up with a fracture. When a child falls, even 10 times, a child will never land up with a fracture, because he's been used to that constant movement of sitting, getting up, falling. But as we age, we stop all that movement, right? So that is why there's a loss of that muscle memory. Okay, when you are supposed to get, how you are supposed to balance. So this is what happens with this gentleman.
Okay.
His kinesthetic intelligence started reviving up. He started getting back his gait. Everyone we have a gait, that's as our walking style.
Okay.
So he started gaining back the gait. His muscle memory came. He was unable to walk, without any help. But with the kinesthetic intelligence, he knew how to balance. So these were the progress that could be seen in front of me. Yes. Crazy. So that was still the best thing with me.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
And one more story is like that. I would like to mention. There was a lady. She was 150 kg and she was bedridden again. So I was called, to meet her, and she was unable to move also. She was all bedridden. I just asked her, all you need to do is, as many times, just move your limbs. Lift your legs, lift your hands, just move, twist around and everything. So she was bedridden for 6 months. When she started doing again all those movement and with the help, getting up, again her also kinesic intelligence, the muscle memory started reviving. And again, with her willpower, of course, she just started moving. It took 6 months time, but this happened.
It gets
So
easier
that's
every
the
day.
power
Wow.
of training and working out and exercising.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you so
Yes.
much for sharing. Thank you. Okay. So, ma'am, we're now going to be touching upon the most controversial topic of the decade, which is protein. So, this might sound basic, but I feel a lot of people don't know what protein does. So, could you help us understand what is protein and why is it important?
Okay. So protein is derived from a Greek word called protease, which means primary.
Okay.
Okay. So it has lot of functions apart from building muscles. So everything protein means weight loss. It doesn't happen like that. So protein has lot of function. The most important function is like it helps with building up of tissues and skins and ligaments and tendons and nails
all
and
the-
hair.
everything, yeah.
We are made of protein, okay?
Yeah.
Like the keratin, the collagen, it's all protein. And all the muscles contraction and relaxation, it happens with the protein, right? And it helps as a messenger. It has to send the message from the body to the cells. Everything is done through protein. Our DNA synthesis and whatnot, it's all protein. So protein is yes the primary and the most integral part. It helps to make the hormones. It helps to make hemoglobin. People who are low in hemoglobin, they think that they are just low in iron, but heme means iron and globin means protein.
Yes,
So if
that's a-
people are low in hemoglobin, they just focus on iron, but they are deficient in protein, and that is the reason there are people who just keep on popping iron pill. They're still low in hemoglobin. You need to check your protein intake.
Protein intake.
So protein is so much important for everything.
Thank you for sharing. Actually, I feel once you start understanding the benefit of protein, people actually start removing this misconception of protein that it's only for bulking up.
Yes.
Because I know so many people who feel that I don't want to be like a Salman Khan. So why have protein actually?
So Sahil, you tell me one thing, that we have been conditioned to that thing from our childhood. In fact, everyone, that protein and going to the gym means bulking up,
Bulking up,
right?
yeah.
But once you enter the gym, how many in the gym? Not even a single person. You will see a bulked up person.
up.
You'll always see college guys, ladies who are struggling with weight. And have always having debating with their trainers whether not to have protein or doing
Yes,
strength
absolutely,
training,
absolutely.
or men who are struggling and pumping up muscles. But have you ever seen anyone who are bulked up?
Bulked up, no.
Okay, it takes years and lot of effort to have that kind of body. It's not just protein.
Tell me about it, I'm trying.
Yes, correct. So that's a misconception and the myth that people are living with it.
With it.
Even though they are seeing in the gym that I don't see any person who are working out for years and they're bulked up, but still the people are conditioned to it.
Absolutely. I think protein is not just for muscle building, it's also for repair actually.
Yes,
And
the
whatever you-
primary function is repair and rebuild. So it's very simple. Like if you are doing working out, there's muscle tear, okay?
Yeah.
There's muscle atrophy,
Yep.
right? Muscle hypertrophy, how it will happen? When you give protein.
Protein.
Because the function of protein, the primary function of protein is to build and to repair. If it doesn't get, okay, the recovery which is supposed to happen in 24 hours, it will take 72 hours, okay? And if it doesn't get still that enough protein, it will take from its own muscles and tissues, and that is when you see muscle loss, and you will never
Absolutely.
get any benefit from your workout. And you will see, even though I'm working out for hours and hours, I don't see any benefit. There's no weight loss, there's no nothing, because you're not feeding your body with the right nutrition, which is protein.
That's such a strong point actually. I'm sure there's so many people who constantly go to the gym but they're not seeing that result just
Yes.
because I think their workout is actually working against them in terms of
Yes.
muscle. That's
Correct.
crazy.
Yes.
So ma'am, you touched upon the point of when people do go to the gym, they should be having protein. But please let's talk about people who don't go to the gym. Why should they have protein?
As I said, you are made of protein. Your skin, your keratin, your collagen, your everything here is made of protein. So if you don't have enough protein, you will compromise on those things,
Yeah.
right? And there are certain amino acids which is responsible for our thyroid functioning, and a lot of other glands and hormones. And it helps to make hormones, the amino acids. So if you don't have enough protein per se, again it will compromise on things.
Yeah.
Okay, your thyroid function won't function better, right? And it will have an impact on your hormones like TSH and stuff, and in turn you'll have loss of hair, you'll feel fatigue all the time, and not only thyroid, in fact all the other glands and all the other hormones will have an impact if you don't have enough protein. Even though people who are not working out, they should have enough protein. And yes, protein is a non-negotiable part of our life.
So I was actually, when I was reading more about protein, I realized that whatever we do in our body, it's completely made of amino acids actually. And once you start seeing it that way, it becomes very easy to demystify or declutter your mind with the stigmas which is around protein actually.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So one more point which I wanted to mention is that people who don't go to the gym, they still are doing some sort of exercise, be it jogging, running, etc. So even that has muscle wear and tear, which if they don't have enough protein would actually work against them.
Yes, correct.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Nice. So ma'am, you mentioned having enough protein. So could you help us understand what counts as enough protein?
All right. See, when you go to a profession like me, we calculate the protein as per, like if you are a sedentary person, I would give 0.8 gram to 1 gram per kg of your body weight. But if you're working out, okay, and if you're lifting heavy and if you're doing heavy workout, I would give you more than body weight protein, and that is when you will see good results. I would not say that people they will fall ill or something will happen to them, not. But if you're working out, you will not get the desired results if you don't take that enough protein. So yes, so we do calculate that way.
Got it.
At least per gram per kg of your body, 1 gram per kg of your body weight. That's the optimal protein everyone should be taking. Yes.
So yeah, that's the optimal amount.
Yes.
I was recently reading an article where it mentioned that 70% of India is actually protein deficient.
Yes.
So what makes our diet so protein deficient and how can we fix it?
Because there's a stigma that if you are like protein is processed, okay, for the vegetarians, if I tell someone to take a protein supplement, they are like, they have that, okay, it is processed and they can't take. And in our vegetarian source, there is nothing complete protein. They are amino acids, which are the building block of protein. There are certain amino acids in some protein. There are certain amino acids. There is not a complete protein,
source,
right?
Yeah.
And even though I give enough protein in all the meals, that is not sufficient in the entire day that fulfill your protein requirement for a vegetarian person. So that is why if you see, mostly people, after 40s, they develop with the problem of osteoporosis. They have pains in the body. They see a lot of hair loss. And at the premenopause stage, women face a lot of problem in terms of hair loss and, mood swings. And they see a major shift in their, hormones, their body structure. They start gaining fat. They start losing their muscles. And these are the problems they face over the time.
And ma'am, to add to your point, actually, people when they look at dal, they think dal is a great source of protein. कि हम तो कितना दाल खा रहे हैं. But actually, one bowl of dal has roughly around 3 to 4 grams of protein.
Yes.
So in the daily needs, people aren't crossing 25-30 grams actually.
Correct.
And that's where I think a protein supplement really adds that extra which people are missing out every single day.
Yes. And Sahil, that is the reason, like, women who are very rigid in their protein and they think they are having enough protein, they are coming with, a lot of, similar problems. They have constant, body ache and they have thyroid problem, they have, blood sugar problem, then they have insulin resistance problem, they have knee pain all the time, they have difficulty in walking. So these are the after effects of just sticking to the dal thing and not having enough protein.
So actually it looks like a magic pill. There's so many things which actually people can actually improve once they start having enough protein.
Yes, correct.
So ma'am, a lot of people also feel that I don't want to have a supplement. I want to have sattu, since sattu is also source of protein. So could you help us compare between sattu and a regular protein supplement? What's the difference?
As I said, protein is made of building blocks of protein called amino acids. Okay, so sattu is made of dal, chana dal, which doesn't have the entire amino acid profile, which makes a protein, complete protein. So you are just having a certain number of amino acids. Of course, when you have rice and stuff and roti and other grains, when combined with that, it gives you a complete protein profile. But again, having just the sattu, if you're an active person, is not enough. So sattu, yes, it does give you energy. It is giving you that amino acid, but it's not that enough that supports your all the other functions which you are doing in the day, and you feel great. And it doesn't support your all the functions and all the stresses which you are taking due to
Doesn't
physical
have all the
activity.
amino acids, yes.
Correct.
Yeah, I was actually reading somewhere that one scoop of protein, whey protein or plant protein, is equal to around 4 to 5 scoops of sattu actually, because sattu doesn't have the same percentage of protein which
Yes.
people are actually feeling.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So you mentioned, for example, with a protein supplement, what are ingredients that you look out for? That this is something which I want my supplement to have, or these are the ingredients which my supplement should not have.
Okay. See, for protein, it is a very debatable topic, of course. So you need to see the right source of the protein. Then choosing between the whey protein and the plant protein, it's completely, personal. So a person who is having a lot of gut issues, which is again, very common nowadays, to those people, I really recommend them to have a plant protein. All right. And people who don't have gut issues, they can opt for the whey protein. But what you need to see is that they don't add a lot of preservatives, they don't add a lot of sugar, they don't add a lot of synthetic flavor, and the ingredient should not be more than 5 or 6 when you're choosing a protein. So too many of ingredients, that means apart from protein they're adding a lot of other stuff which our body doesn't require.
Absolutely.
So that's the main key point where I look for when I am opting for a protein.
Very well said, ma'am. Actually, and that's one of the stories of how we launched our plant protein actually.
Yes.
Where we felt, although there's a lot of protein powders in the market and they've got a good content of protein,
Yes.
but they've got so many other things which people don't need.
Yes.
And you need to have a book to actually understand these different complicated terms which you don't know.
Yes.
So the concept was that let's make a simple protein.
Correct.
Protein where your and my grandmother, your parents can able to
Yes.
understand the ingredients very well.
When you can read the label and you don't have to Google like what
Yeah.
is there in the label,
Yeah.
that means that protein is like good for you.
Got it. Perfect. And so, ma'am, there's a common conception that protein will bulk me up. And protein, I want to lose weight. If I have protein, I'll increase my weight. So, does protein really help with weight loss?
Yes, of course, a big yes. Because see, to burn fat, what you need to, it's very important that fat needs to be circulated and mobilized.
Okay.
All right. So, and then fat is used, to burn energy into energy, and that is called fat burning, right? So, for the process of circulating the fat, mobilizing the fat, and then burning it as an energy, that process is done by methionine, which is one of the amino acid, again, which is again a protein.
Yeah.
So protein plays a very vital role in weight loss and fat burning. So if you lack this amino acid, so you are not completing the pathway of this fat burning.
Okay.
So protein big time help with fat loss or weight loss, and also protein helps to build with the muscle mass, right? So it is like the more muscle mass you have, the more metabolism you have. Even when you're talking to me, sitting and talking to me, doing nothing, if you have more muscle mass, your body is burning more calories, because to maintain fat, the body doesn't need any calories, but to maintain muscle mass, the body needs to burn a lot of calories.
Okay.
And to build mass, what you need is that protein again.
So, ma'am, if somebody is having protein and they're building muscle mass, then is it possible that they want to, they're doing all the cardio and the strength training, but they're not losing weight, that they're gaining weight because they're actually having protein?
Yes.
So, does that mean that they're gaining muscle mass but they're losing fat?
See, muscle you think is like loha, okay? It's less in volume, more in weight.
Dense.
And
Yep.
fat is like cotton, rui. It's more in volume and less in weight. So a person who is losing fat, okay, is shrinking, becoming lesser in volume, okay, but it doesn't weigh so much. It doesn't show that much significant, difference in the weighing scale. But a person who is gaining muscle mass at the same time, will look more toned,
Toned.
look more leaner, but again, the weighing scale won't show any difference.
So the weighing scale can lie,
So
but
weighing scale say lie all the time. It's
Okay.
very deceptive. It doesn't give you the right picture of how is your health progress. So if a client comes to me with a weight loss, right, and if there is muscle loss and there's fat gain, that I don't call it a progress. I call as a deterioration.
deterioration.
Yes.
Got it. Perfect. So, ma'am, we've spoken about protein. There's another buzz ingredient in the market, which is collagen. So, what's your take on that?
Collagen, you do strength training and you build your collagen. For collagen, you don't have to drink collagen. If you want to increase your eyesight, you cannot have your eyes, right? If you want to work on your liver, you cannot have your liver. Similarly, the collagen. So what you can do is you can boost your collagen, number one, by strength training. And to have the best impact of strength training, you need to have good amount of good quality of protein.
Okay.
And top of that, what you can do is you can have the collagen peptides, which can boost your own body's collagen.
Okay.
Our body makes collagen. At 20, 30, it is at its peak, and after 30, it starts depleting, right?
Okay.
And that is when I said it's like longevity, reversal of your aging when you strength train. So that means you are building muscle mass, you are building your collagen. You don't have to spend that thousands of money on those expensive collagen, because collagen molecules are very large, right? And they cannot penetrate all these things.
Okay.
So that is why you can take the precursors of the collagen, which are biotin, then which are collagen peptides, and the vitamin C's, L-arginine, again this amino acids. So these are the precursors which will boost your own body's
Own body
collagen.
But you don't need to take collagen separately.
You cannot have collagen, you cannot have eyes, you cannot
It's
have
such
your
a
finger.
eye opener, because there are so many supplements for collagen
Yes.
actually.
Yes.
And I know so many people who, it might be a placebo effect, but people
Yes.
feel that they see a difference in their skin after having collagen supplements.
Yes.
So it's crazy. Thank you for debunking that. So, ma'am, we've already touched upon the topic of weight loss a little bit, but I want to dive a little deeper into that. So, as we all know, India is known as the diabetes and the weight gain capital of the world. So, why is that so? And how have we reached this position?
You know what, India is actually we are declared the diabetic capital because of the increasing insulin resistance, because of the decreasing muscle mass. You know, muscle is that entity which reduces your insulin resistance. The more the muscle mass you have, the lesser the insulin resistance, and the lesser the muscle mass, the more the insulin resistance, which is the cause for diabetes.
Okay.
So again, the number one thing, it's a solution which you can ask for to reduce diabetes
Protein.
would be again strength training, and then adding that protein.
So there are a lot of people who really struggle with their weight, and they try everything. They try strength training, cardio, but the weight just doesn't go down. Or there's this yo-yo effect,
Yes.
where it goes down, suddenly comes up.
Yes.
So why does that happen?
Sahil, firstly, I would like to mention that weight or the BMI which is calculated, it doesn't tell us about your health, right? Weight changes with a lot of factors, your age, you know, your stress level, your hormonal level. Like in 20, a woman, if she would be like 50 kg, at 50 years of age, she cannot expect to be 50. But the BMI doesn't take into consideration the age, the hormones, the stress level and everything. So weight, if you tell me, is not at all a health marker, and it doesn't tell about your fitness. So let's not talk about weight. If you want to talk to me, talk about fat loss and muscle gain.
Got
So
it.
that's the fitness parameter. That is about your fitness.
Got it. Actually, like from the very beginning, even in movies, you see all of them going on the weighing scale, you know, having those slim and trim bodies. So
Yes.
this sort of culture that we've built actually. It
Yes.
might be a bad culture of, you know, constantly looking at the weighing scale.
Yes. So the weighing scale, if you stand, is the weight of your skin, your hair, your nail, your eyes, your ears. So you want to get rid of those weight, your bones, your muscle mass, your fat, your water. What you want to get rid of. The weighing scale doesn't tell that's the eyes you weigh this much or your hair weight this much.
Yeah.
So if you're reducing, what are you reducing?
Got it.
So weight is not tells you about your health condition and your fitness level.
Got it. So on the topic of fat, then,
Yes.
a lot of men and women actually complain of this stubborn belly fat,
Yes.
especially as they grow a little older in their
Yes.
30s and 40s. So why does it happen, and what can people do about that?
Okay, so very, very interesting fact. The center of gravity for women is at their butt, okay, and the center of gravity for men is at their abdomen.
Okay.
Right? So men, if you see, if they do a lot of crunches, they have the ab muscles. And for women, if they want to see their abs flaunting, they have to do a lot of deadlifts and squats. Okay, so there was a bit away from the topic. Just I thought of mentioning you because someone asked me yesterday only.
Okay.
So, if we talk about men and women who are working so hard, but still they are not getting results because they are focusing on the wrong thing and the wrong way. The number one is consistency of what they are doing, and also every time just changing their diet with the trend. Sometimes focusing too much on one macro, and sometimes focusing too much on the other macro. Suppose if I need to uptake my protein, it doesn't mean I will not focus on the fat and the carbs, which is as equal as protein. Or if I am doing strength training, I should not do other part of training like endurance and the flexibility, the yoga thing and stuff. So that is very important. And also for the results, as I said, consistency is the most important thing, and the discipline. So that lacks with everyone, and that is when they give up and they don't get the results.
Got it. Like one thing which is very common is we keep hearing people talking about do this exercise and reduce belly fat, but something which I again recently learned is actually the spot reduction is not possible.
Yes.
People can't reduce. But why is this so common? Like people keep talking about these few exercises which will help reduce belly fat.
Okay, so belly fat, there are a few reasons for that. It's either you are stressed, there's too much of adrenal fatigue, the adrenal glands are top of our kidney, right? There's too much of cortisol, and it's a tendency to have that visceral fat or the belly fat. Then either there's too much of alcohol consumption, because of that also there's too much of belly fat and the visceral fat. And the third would be sedentary lifestyle. So a person who is working out 1 hour in the morning and the entire day is sitting, I would call that person sedentary, right? Okay. So, and now the thing has changed that everyone is like always sitting, there's lack of movement, right? So it's like sitting and spreading. So I always tell my clients that way, that our body is 70% water, right? So water take the shape of whatever you do or whatever you put in. So if you're sitting, your body is 70% water, you are spreading. And so if you want to do a spread much, you need to again stand. Okay, so because your body is again 70% water, it will take the shape of that you are standing. And if you sit, you are just spreading that way.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yes, so you have to move enough, to reduce that belly fat. That is very important. And also one most important thing, that our stomach is like this fist size, right? We become greedy over the time, okay? And we open the fist and we are like having that bhiksha, what we call. And because of the bhiksha, it's like the muscles are, increasing day by day. Okay. And that is why our belly fat is increasing. Yes. So those are the few things. And as I said, we cannot, there's nothing called spot reduction. If fat is gone, it is overall gone. Yeah. And the reason for belly fat, or what you can call as visceral fat, is mostly, which I have seen in my clients, is either stress, too much consumption of processed food, or alcohol, or sedentary lifestyle, not exercising at all. So these are the few things. So if you don't have, you are reducing your visceral fat and belly fat.
Got it. So ma'am, over the past few months and years now, something that has been very, very common, and you can see it on all these celebrity profiles, is Ozempic and now Mounjaro. So does it actually work, and would you recommend it to your patients?
Okay. So what actually does is, you must have heard of GLP-1 hormone, right? So it just suppresses your appetite. Our body itself produces GLP-1, and that is produced when you chew your food well, when you pay attention to the food. Your GLP-1
goes down.
It stimulates that GLP-1 when you chew your food well, which is
reduces
responsible,
the calories.
Which reduces your appetite. That is why I always advise my client to have salad before your lunch, chew your food well, because it then induces the GLP-1 hormone. Now what they have come with the Ozempic, they have increased the GLP-1 50 times more. So this was done to reduce the insulin resistance, and this was for diabetic people, and they saw that they help with the weight loss. So now my question is, if something comes that you start taking alloxin and thyroxine, the thyroid medicine, and you see a weight loss, even if you don't have thyroid, people will start taking thyroid medicine. Or maybe people, if they come out that with the chemo, they are seeing weight loss without cancer, people will start taking chemotherapy.
But at what cost?
Yeah, at what cost? You don't have that problem and you are taking something just for the weight loss. At what cost? At the cost of your hormones, at the cost of your skin, your hair, your personality, your being active. At what cost? If that is the cost, you want the weight loss, then okay, then Ozempic is fine.
I see so many people who apparently have taken Mounjaro or Ozempic, and they seem very, weak and thin. So why is that the case?
Because when you're doing weight loss, it doesn't distinguish between muscle and fat. So mostly you're losing muscle mass, right? And as I said, muscle is something which uplifts you against gravity. When there is no muscle mass, you go down, you bend, you feel weak, you feel groggy, you don't feel like doing anything. That actually change your entire personality at the cost of
very visible.
It's very visible.
Okay.
So yes, and so once you stop taking the medicine, the weight comes back. But the weight that comes back, it might be more of fat percentage, but not that muscle mass which you've already lost so much. And it is so difficult to, gain muscle mass, and you know it well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So actually it also becomes like a constant, like a vicious circle, because once you start it, you have to continue it for your entire life.
Yes.
You can't stop it.
Yes.
It's crazy actually. So on that topic again, so there are many approaches which people take. Keto, intermittent fasting, calorie tracking, etc. Is there a method to this madness?
Okay. So I always believe in just one thing, which is called calorie deficit for weight loss. It is a very simple thing. If you are eating the lesser number of calories which your body requires, then your body uses the stored fat for its energy use, and that is how you lose weight. And when you want to gain weight, you just do the opposite. You do a calorie surplus. So all these diet like keto, or maybe all these yo-yo diet, or the GM thing. So all these diet, they give importance to one macro, and it is not just forgetting the other macro, which is again impacting your health. But in a calorie deficit diet, you are taking all the balanced diet. It's just that you are putting a deficit.
So in fasting, people are not having anything. So then is your philosophy that you have less, but you have something compared to having nothing? Is that the philosophy then?
So see, there are various ways of intermittent fasting. If you're talking about the eating window and the non-eating window, and again, it depends on person to person, and especially male and female.
Okay.
All right. So female, when they are doing intermittent fasting, they are going against their body's circadian rhythm, right? And they are active. They are already so much stressed, right? Their day-to-day thing, and when they are not eating, they are putting additional stress to the body. And in turn, what happens? Again, they go to the sympathetic nervous system, cortisol high, adrenal fatigue. They stay fatigued throughout the day, and they are adding more visceral fat. And especially, after 40, when women hit their perimenopause phase, so what happens? There's less of progesterone, right? The estrogen dominance. Yes. So what happens? It is responsible for your anti-inflammatory response. So what happens? All the free fatty acids which is revolving in the body, they sit on your visceral area, which develops that visceral fat, and that is why women after 40, they always complain that suddenly they have developed this,
which was never there before.
Yes, the fat around their belly area, which was never there before.
Okay.
So this is the main reason. So in that case, women who are in the perimenopause space, I'm not a big fan of asking them fasting, especially in the morning area.
Okay.
So you finish in the evening by 5-6 p.m. Then you don't eat.
Have your macros.
But after that you start your morning as soon as you wake up, because that is the time you're mostly active.
Got it.
So evening you don't eat, you finish your meal early, and morning as soon as you wake up, you start your meal, you give nutrition, to your body, so that your cortisol, when it is spike, it dips with the day. That is how it is supposed to be.
So ऐसे बचपन में बोलते थे ना कि you should eat your breakfast like a king, and you should have your dinner like a pauper. So I think then that's the good philosophy to.
So that again depends on every individual. Every biometrics is different. The idea is when you are more active, you fuel your body that time. When you are less active, you give less fuel your body that time. So that should be. We cannot generalize everything. Once size doesn't fit for all, that is their strategy.
Got it. Perfect. So, ma'am, all of these diets, these fasting, what to have, what not to have, there is so much of misinformation. And every single day, I see if somebody says that you can have this, I see another reel where somebody says you shouldn't have this. So, for a layman, how do you actually cut through the misinformation and understand what's actually good for you?
Yes, you are very much right. In fact, sometimes I sit myself and I go through the reel. There's one reel which is saying this is amazing for your body. And the other reel comes and it says it's a poison to your body. And I think if I am there, like how would I choose what to have and what not to have? So I always say that you have to stop outside noise. You have to listen to your inner voice. Like being an entrepreneur, like you must have made, the biggest decision of your life. Listening to your gut, right? It's my gut feeling. But when it comes to food, we don't listen to our gut. You need to actually listen to your own gut. And also to in what context you are having that food. So for example, I recommend my clients to have apple cider vinegar just because one, with age, for many reasons, their stomach acid is low. Okay, and stomach acid is responsible for a lot of things in our body. And also they have apple cider vinegar because it reduces the blood glucose spike, right? But so you should understand why it is being advised. It is not for weight loss, and it is not for fat burning and all the stuff.
Which is it's sold for. It's
yes. But the reel is coming that if you have apple cider vinegar, it will just spoil your health and it will burn your esophageal line. But you should say how much if you take that it will burn your esophageal, the thing. So everything is about how much you are taking and not overdoing that thing. It is never said that you are taking for this purpose. So you should be educated that if you are taking something, why are you taking that thing, how much you are taking that thing, should you take or should not you take. That something might be very poisonous for you and that thing would be a boon to someone else. So you should always be educated and not informed. Information is not knowledge. So that is what I believe.
Nice.
Whatever you're putting inside your body, you should know that what it is doing to your health.
Yeah, and I think that knowledge actually gives you a sense of peace and about your decision. Otherwise, you're constantly chasing one reel to the next. Right?
And I'm very glad, person like you who has taken this, responsibility to actually educate people as to if you're giving any supplement or anything, why are you giving that and in what way it will help. And now is their decision whether to take it or not. Yes.
Absolutely. So ma'am, we've got a very fun game round for you. I'm going to be giving you different ingredients of food items and you need to help me out if it's helping us or hurting us.
Alright.
Okay. Roti, helping or hurting?
Helping.
Okay. Rice.
Helping.
Ghee.
Helping a lot.
Okay. Fruit juices.
Not helping.
Okay. Biscuits.
Not helping.
Dahi.
Helping.
Coffee.
Helping.
Black coffee.
Oh, did you ask about milk coffee?
Yes, milk coffee.
Yeah, helping.
Okay. Brown bread.
Not helping.
Millets.
Helping a lot.
Soya.
Helping.
Smoothies.
Not helping.
Cereals.
Not helping.
Okay.
So Sahil, between your choices, I'll just sum it up. Okay, anything which comes from the plant is good for our body.
Okay.
Okay, anything comes from the factory, of course, it's not good for the body.
Okay.
Because anything which comes from the plant has water, right? And that is why if you eat the normal sabji roti, you don't feel like having cold drinks. But if you eat all those processed, food like maida, pasta, pizza, all those heavy food, you always want to have that cold drink and you just feel like having ki cold drink piye bina ye pachega hi nahi, that types. Have you ever thought why? because it is devoid of all the water. It is so processed कि उसमें कुछ water ही नहीं है. तो body को हम लोग को additional चाहिए होता है. But वो plant food जो हम लोग normal हम लोग का खाना खाता है, Indian food, it does have a lot of water. So with that we don't need that water. So any food which you have asked, it comes
Processed,
from plant,
yeah.
is processed. No, which comes from plant. Yes, processed food are science experiment, man experiment. So it is not good for us. We are just
Lab rats.
yeah, lab rats. But anything which comes from the plants and this farmer, it's not experiments. It's all their love.
All right, perfect. So thank you so much, ma'am. We've gone through a lot of questions and I feel we've debunked a lot of myths here on the
Yes,
podcast.
I hope so.
I have learned an incredible amount about sleep, protein, weight loss, and thank you so much for coming. And it's been a pleasure to speak to you today.
Thank you, Sahil, for taking this drive, to educating people. As I said, information is not knowledge. It's spreading this awareness, spreading this knowledge and education so that people actually are able to, understand themselves that what is good for them and what is bad for them. So thank you for making me a part of this drive, and I hope that we are able to, educate them and it is of help.
Thank you so much, actually. And just usually doctors or usually just health experts give advice, but they don't tell you why they give that advice.
Correct.
And that's why I would encourage everybody to follow Shikha ma'am on Instagram. She gives gold advice, and her morning routine is something which is to die for. So definitely do try that out. So thank you so much for coming here. Thank you.
Thank you.